Hi family, welcome back to ladensercrochets. If you're new to the channel, you're welcome. My name is Liz. Kindly subscribe and join the family. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this kimono. It's part of the quad stitch collection that I've been making, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. If you do, kindly leave a like, comment and share. Grab your materials and let's get into the tutorial. I'm using a medium weight acrylic yarn in this shade of red. You can use acrylic or cotton, and then I'll be using my 4mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, stitch markers, measuring tape and a darning needle. Start with a slip knot and then chain. I'm going to make a chain that is long enough to get me to the 55 inches. So chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll continue chaining until I get to that length, and the chain should be a multiple of 3. That is a number that is divisible by 3. 55 is the full length of my kimono, and therefore you should chain a number that gives you the full length of the kimono that you're working. It could be 50, it could be 40, depending on your height. I've done a total of 180 chains, and this gets me to the 55 inches. When I measure this chain without stretching, it will get me to the 55 inches. So let's confirm that from this point, going all the way down without stretching. And right there, I'm at around, I'm at 55, which is what I was going for. So that's the chain that I'm going to go with. To start row 1, we're going to hold onto the last chain and chain 3 more. 1, 2, and 3, and that's our first double crochet. Then we're going to yarn over, insert the hook into that chain that we're holding, yarn over and pull up a loop to get 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 to complete the second double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook into the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop to get the 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. Then yarn over into the next chain, we do a double crochet, then a double crochet into the chain that follows, 1 double crochet into the next chain, and at the end of row 1 I'll have 181 double crochets. So make sure that at the end of the first row you have a number that is divisible by 3 plus 1 more stitch. So now continue with 1 double crochet in every stitch to the end. I'll meet you at the end of row 1. I'm done with row 1 and I have 181 double crochets. So we're ready to begin row 2. And for row 2 we're going to begin by chaining 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then turn. The chain 7 will act as a quad stitch plus 2 chains. So the quad is 5 chains and then we have 2 chains. Then we're going to go over the hook 1, 2 and 3 times. Then we skip the second and the third stitch, insert the hook into the 4th stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop to get 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 loops on the hook. Then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 to complete a quad stitch. So we have the first quad stitch, we have 2 chains in between, we have skipped 2, and we have the second quad stitch. Then we're going to chain 1 and 2, then go over the hook for 3 times, 1, 2 and 3, skip 2 stitches, work into the third, pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2 and then pull through the remaining 2. That's our third quad stitch. Chain 2, go over the hook 3 times, skip 2 stitches, work into the third and complete a quad stitch. Chain 2, yarn over 3 times, skip 2 stitches, work into the third, complete a quad stitch. Chain 2, 1, 2, 3, skip 2, then quad stitch. And we're going to repeat this pattern to the end of row 2. At the end of row 2, I should have 3 stitches remaining, that is 1, 2 and the chain stitch. So now I'm going to chain 2, yarn over 3 times, skip these 2 stitches, then work onto the third stitch on the third chain, then we're going to complete the quad stitch right there. And there we have our row 2 done. Chain 3, which is our first double crochet, and turn to begin row 3. Then we're going to start into the chain 2 space, and into that chain 2 we're going to place 2 double crochets, that is 1 and 2. Then the next double crochet will be on top of the quad stitch. The next one will be in the chain 2 space, so right there we're going to have 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet on the quad stitch, 2 double crochets onto the chain 2 space, 1 double crochet on the quad stitch, then 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, and now we repeat the pattern to the end. So right here we have 2 double crochets and then we have 1 double crochet. Now continue like this to the end of row 3 and I'll meet you there. I'm coming to the end of row 3, and into this quad stitch I'll place a double crochet. Then we have the 7 chains remaining at the end. So in that chain I'll place 2 double crochets first, which will be the 2 double crochets into the chain 2. Then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 chains, then yarn over, insert the hook into that 5th chain and do the last double crochet right there. And there we're done with row 3. We're going to chain 3 and turn to begin row 4, and row 4 is going to be a double crochet row. So this is our first double crochet in the first stitch. So we're going to yarn over and work a double crochet into the second stitch, a double crochet into the next stitch, then I'll work 1 double crochet into all the stitches across. At the end I should have 181 double crochets. So work row 4 with just 1 double crochet in every stitch, and I'll meet you at the end. I'm at the end of row 4, and this is the second last stitch. The last stitch is on top of the chain 3, so right there on the chain 3 I'll place a double crochet, and we're done with row 4. So then we're going to chain 7 actually. We're going to chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and turn to begin row 5. And row 5 is going to be the same as row 2. So we're going to work with the quad stitch, 1, 2, 3, skip the second and the third stitch, work into the fourth, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. Then chain 2, 1, 2, and 3, skip 2 stitches, then into the third stitch, do the quad stitch. And now repeat the pattern to the end of row 5. I'm done with row 5, and we are ready to begin row 6. So we're going to chain 1, 2, and 3, and turn to begin row 6. Row 6 is going to be the same as row 3. So where we have the 2 chains, we're going to place 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, then 1 double crochet on the quad stitch, 2 double crochets on the chain 2, 1 double crochet on the quad stitch, then we repeat to the end. Now once we are done with row 6, we're going to work row 7, and row 7 will be the same as row 4. So basically we are repeating these 3 rows, this, and this. So row 2, row 3, and row 4. Again we work row 3, we have row 2, row 3, and row 4. Then we start again, row 2, row 3, row 4, then row 2, row 3, row 4, like that. We keep alternating the 3 rows until we get to half of our hip measurements. So after this row, I'm going to work a double crochet row to the end, then I'll work the quad stitch row. 1 quad stitch row, 2 double crochet rows, keep alternating, and keep repeating the rows until you get half of your hip measurement. My hip measurement is 45, and I'm going to repeat rows until I get to 22.5 inches on the width. So right now, this is the width of my work, and right now I'm at a width of almost 5 inches, not 5 exactly, slightly below 5 inches, and I want to work until I get to between 22.5 and 23. I can work with 23. So I'll keep going until I get there. Then I'll be back and show you what to do next. I have my back panel ready and I've done a total of 27 rows, and that gets me to my 22.5 inches or something close to 23, which is half of my hip measurement. And when I measure from one end to the other, as you can see, we're getting to 23, which is what I was going for. Now you want to make sure that at the beginning you only have one row of double crochets, and at the end you should also have one row of the double crochets. So then when you get to the end, we're going to chain one and cut off the yarn at that point. So cut off the yarn, pull through and fasten. Next, I'll get the measuring tape and I'm going to measure out the armhole of my kimono. Starting from the top, I'm going to measure 9 inches, just like this. It can be between 7 to 9 inches, depending on your size. If you're a size small, go for 7. If you're a size large to extra large, go for 9 inches. And so we're measuring without stretching. And you want to make sure that the stitch that you mark aligns with quad stitch. So make sure that the stitch that you're marking is aligning with a quad stitch. And for me, that's going to be this stitch right here. So I'll get my stitch marker and mark that stitch at that point. Count the number of stitches that are between the top and the stitch marker, and then I'll count the same number of stitches on the other side. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So I'll mark the 31st stitch on the other side. So count 31, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. It aligns with the quad stitch, so mark that stitch. So now we've created the space for the armhole. Next, we're going to get the yarn and the hook and chain 31. Actually, we're going to chain 30. Get your hook and the yarn and chain 30. These stitches that are before the stitch marker. So I'll do slip knots, then chain 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. After the 30 chains, we're going to hold the last chain and chain 3 more, 1, 2, and 3. Go into that chain that we're holding with a double crochet, and that will be our second double crochet. Then we're going to work 1 double crochet into all the chains. That's the third. At the end of the chain, we should have a total of 31 double crochets. So that's 3. I'll keep going until I get 31. Now, if you've counted 25, you're going to have 26. If you've counted 20, you're going to have 21, just 1 extra stitch. This right here is a standard armhole for an adult. So everyone can work with the 31 double crochets. I have my 31 double crochets, so I'll get one of the sides of the back panel right here. Make sure that you're working on the side where the stitches are visible, and I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the stitch after the stitch marker right here, and place a double crochet at that point. So double crochet like that, and now this is the start of one of the front panels. We want to work them directly on to the back panel, so that I do not have a lot of work to sew the two panels together. So I'm just attaching it directly. So now that's our 32nd stitch. Then I'll just continue with one double crochet into each of the stitches to the end. As I do that, I'll work over this end. I'm done with that row, which is the first row of my front panel. So from the top, as you can see, this is the bottom part, and this right here is the upper part of my kimono. And to determine the number of rows that I'm going to work for the front panel, get the measuring tape and measure 6 inches. And 6 inches for me is covered by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 rows. Now you're going to take the total number of rows that you've done for your back panel. So for my back panel, I've done a total of 27 rows. If you've done 25, you're going to take the 25. If you've done 24, you take the 24. And whatever you've worked with, you're going to subtract 7. So mine is 27 minus 7, minus 7. And this will give me 20. Then whatever number you're going to get, my 20, you're going to divide it by 2, and that will be 10. That means one of the front panels will have 10 rows. So we'll have 10 rows on one side, 10 rows on the other side. If, for example, yours were 25 minus 7, that will give you 18. So you'll take 18 divided by 2, and that will be 9. So you'll have 9 rows on one side, 9 rows on the other side. So do that, and let's do the front panel. Now that I'm done with the double crochet row, and we already have 2 double crochet rows here, the next row is going to be the quad stitch. So row 2 of the front panel, we chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, then turn. And then when you turn, yarn over 1, 2, and 3, skip the second and the third stitch, work into the fourth, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, then pull through the remaining 2. Now work the quad stitch row. After the quad stitch, you're going to work 2 rows of double crochets, and you'll keep going until you get to that number of rows that you've gotten. I'll work until I have my 10 rows. Once I have the 10 rows, I'll be back and show you what to do next. This right here is after the 10 rows on the front panel, and I'm done with one of the front panels. So this one will fold in. It will fold in like this, and then I'm going to join at the shoulder part, and this will be our sleeve area. So let's do the joining. Once you get to the end of the 10th row, we're going to chain 1, and turn. When we turn, we want to cover the back panel like this and count the number of rows. Align the rows such that the first row is aligned with the first on the other side, the second, and all the way to this point. So I'll insert my hook into this first row on this side. These are 7 rows actually, so I'm counting, are they 7? No, 10. I'm counting 10 rows on the other panel, on the back panel. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So in the first row on this side and the 10th row on the other side, insert a hook. Because those are double crochet rows, we're going to place 2 single crochets into them. So yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the 2, go back into that row with another single crochet, then into the next double crochet rows we join them with 2 single crochets. Then we get onto the quad stitch rows, and right there we're going to place 4 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we get to the double crochet rows and we place 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, 2 single crochets in the next double crochet rows, 1 and 2, then 4 single crochets on the quad rows, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we repeat to the end. So in the double crochet row, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets next, 4 single crochets next, and then 2 single crochets at the end, 1, but then the last one will be in the chain 3 and the stitch on the other side. Place your last single crochet there, then we chain 1 and cut off the yarn at that point, pull through and fasten, and we are done with one of the front panels fully attached at the shoulders. The stitch markers, we don't need them anymore. At least we don't need this one. We still need the other one, but that front panel on one side is done. So now we need to do the same exact thing on this other side, beginning with a slip knot, and then we're going to do the 30 chains. Let me show you. Start with a slip knot, chain 30, after the 30 chains we hold that last chain and chain 3 more, 1, 2, and 3. That's our first double crochet, yarn over, insert the hook into that chain that you're holding and do a second double crochet. Then we're going to place 1 double crochet into each of the chains. That's 3, and we're going to have a total of 31 double crochets. I have my 31 double crochets, and so I'll get the main part, the part that is already done, and go to the point where we have the stitch marker, and we're going to attach that chain. We're going to attach the chain onto the stitch after the stitch marker. So I'm going to yarn over, get my work, insert the hook into this stitch that is after the stitch marker and complete a double crochet right there. Then I'm going to work over the end. In the next stitch I'll do a double crochet into the next stitch, and a double crochet all the way to the bottom. Then I'm going to replicate whatever I've done on the other side to this side. So I'll do the 10 rows, and once I'm done with the 10 rows I'll attach on the top, and then I'll come back once I have the second front panel done and attached on the shoulders. You can rewind the video back to the point where we started working the other front panel until you get to the point where you attach the 2 panels on the shoulders. I'll see you once I'm done. This right here is after I'm done with the 2 front panels. As you can see, we have this opening at the front part, which is covering the neckline, and then now we need to do the sleeves. So we're going to do a sleeve on this side and on the other side. To do that, we need to turn our work to the right side, and then we'll get one of the sleeves. I'll show you how to work on one of the sleeves, at least how to start, and then you can go ahead and work the other one. So you want to get the armpit part of the sleeve. Get the yarn and the hook and start with a slip knot. Then get that part right here. So I'm going to get this part and connect my yarn at that point with a slip stitch. Next, I'll chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Then I'll skip over to the next stitch right here. While at it, I'll work over these ends. So into that stitch, I'll do a double crochet, then a double crochet into the next stitch. Then I'll do 1 double crochet into all the double crochet stitches all the way around. As I do that, I'll count my stitches. So I'm working all the way around and I'll count my stitches, and I need to make sure that the stitch count is a multiple of 3. If at the end I don't get a multiple of 3, I'll see if I can add 1 or 2 stitches to get to a multiple of 3. I'm in the last stitch, and this is my 63rd stitch, and 63 stitches is a multiple of 3, so I do not need to add any stitches. If you get 62 at this point, you can add 1 more stitch at that point to get you to 63. So then after that, I'll do a slip stitch on top of the chain 3 to complete that first row of the sleeve. Now we have 2 rows of double crochets, so I'm going to chain 7 and turn to begin row 2 of the sleeve, and it's going to be a quad stitch row. So yarn over 1, 2, 3, skip 1, 2, and work into the next stitch, chain 2, yarn over 3 times, skip 2 stitches and work into the next one, chain 2, 1, 2, and 3, skip 2 stitches and continue to the next stitch. Then work all the way around with the quad stitch. So chain 2, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. At the end I have 2 stitches remaining, so I'll chain 2 and skip those 2 stitches, then count 5 chains from the chain 7 that we started with from the bottom, 1 2 3 4, and insert the hook into the 5th, yarn over and pull the loop, then pull through to slip stitch and complete that second row. Then we're going to chain 1 2 and 3 and turn to begin row 3 of the sleeve. We begin in the chain 2 space and we're going to place 2 double crochets, then 1 double crochet on the quad stitch, 2 double crochets into the chain space, 1 double crochet next, then 2 double crochets, and we continue with this double crochet row all the way around. I'm coming to the end of that row and I'll just place my last double crochet into that last stitch, and then to complete I'll do a slip stitch on top of the chain 3, and I'm done with that row, which is the second row, the second double crochet row. So the next row is going to be a quad stitch row. We start by chaining 7 and turning. Once we turn, we're going to skip 2 stitches, that is the second and the third stitch, after yarning over 3 times, that is 1 2 3, then skip 1 and 2, then go into the next stitch and do the quad stitch. So I'll keep going with the quad stitch row. When I get to the end, I'll slip stitch on top of the chain 5, then I'll do the 2 double crochet rows, then keep alternating between the 2 double crochet rows and the quad stitch until I get the length of my sleeve. So I'll meet you once I have the sleeve ready. Then I'll also go ahead and work the other sleeve the same exact way. Then I'll show you how to complete the project once I have my 2 sleeves ready. I'm done with my sleeve and I've done a total of 25 rows to get me to a length of 21 inches, which is the full length of the sleeve that I was going for. So when you get to the end, you need to make sure that your last stitch, your last row is a double crochet row, and then at the end, just chain 1 and cut off the yarn. Pull the yarn through and we're going to weave in that end. So you're going to work your sleeve on one side and then turn to the other side and do the same exact thing, which is what I've done on this other side. Next, I'll do an edging at the front part of the cardigan, the kimono, beginning from the bottom part. So this is a very long kimono, and I'll start on the right hand side from this first stitch. I'll get my yarn and start with a slip knot, then pull the yarn through and chain 7. So I'll chain 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. I'm going to work a row of the quad stitch starting from this side all the way through the neckline, and then I'll get all the way to the bottom part on the other side. So from here I'm going to yarn over 3 times, 1 2 and 3, then I'll skip the second stitch, the third, work into the fourth, do the quad stitch, chain 2, yarn over 3 times, skip 2 stitches, work into the third. And you already know how to do this row, so just go on, work the row all the way around the cardigan. I'll meet you at the top on the shoulder part to show you how to work that part. So 1, 2, then the quad stitch. So keep working till you get to the top right here. I'll meet you at that point. So we're going to have a quad stitch at the corner part right here. I'm skipping these 2 stitches, then I'll work on this joining part at the shoulders. Then now we're going to get to this part on the neckline, and at that point we're going to chain 2, yarn over 3 times, and then we'll skip this row of double crochets. I'm going to skip the double crochet row because this represents 2 stitches. Then I'll work right here a quad stitch on that quad stitch right there, then chain 2. The quad stitch represents 4 stitches. I've already worked into 1, so I'll work at the corner of the quad stitch again, but instead of working right here, I'll work in this gap at this point. Like that. Then chain 2. After chaining 2, I'm going to yarn over 3 times and skip this double crochet row, then work a quad stitch onto the next double crochet row. Now the double crochet row represents 2 stitches, so I've already worked into 1, so that means I'll chain 2, yarn over 3 times, then I'm going to skip this as the first stitch. The second one will be here, then I'll work a quad stitch just on that quad stitch. That's the second, so then I'll chain 2, and now we have 2 remaining on this end, so we're going to skip those and work a quad stitch onto the next double crochet row. Then chain 2. The next quad stitch will be on the double crochet row, on the next double crochet row, at least at the corner part on the other side, like that. Then I'll chain 2. The next quad stitch should be somewhere in the middle of this quad stitch row. I'm supposed to yarn over 3 times. So right here I'll do the quad stitch, chain 2. The next quad stitch will go onto this joint part of the shoulders. Chain 2 and turn to the other side. So when you turn to the other side, we're going to skip stitches normally. Yarn over 3 times, skip 2 stitches, work into the third. Chain 2, yarn over 3 times, skip 2 stitches, then work into the third and continue to the bottom part. So now I'll just work the quad stitches separated by the chain 2 all the way down to the bottom at this point, and I'll meet you here. Then we're going to work one more row, which is a double crochet row, to complete the cardigan or to complete the kimono. So let me keep going till I get to the bottom part. At the end, I'll have the last board stitch on the chain 3. And then I'll chain 3 and turn to begin the very last row, which will be a row of double crochets. So beginning from the chain 2 right here, we're going to place 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet on the quad stitch, then 2 double crochets, and I'm going to work the double crochets just like I've worked the quad stitch all the way on one side of the front part of the kimono through the neckline and onto the other side of the kimono, and when I get to the end, I'll be done with my kimono. So just keep going all the way around. I'll meet you at the end. I'll place my last double crochet onto the chain 5, and that will complete my last row. Then chain 1 and cut off the yarn, then pull through and fasten. Now after this, I'll just weave in all the ends and then be done with the kimono. So get the darning needle, put the yarn through and weave in. Then cut off the end that remains. Now I'll weave in all the other ends of camera, but then this is what we have after everything. So now this is the neckline. We have the sleeves, and then as you can see, we have that edging at the front part of the kimono all the way down to the bottom right there. So thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the tutorial. If you've enjoyed it, kindly leave a like, a comment, share, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and see you in the next tutorial.